Lions TV, this is your transfer deadline day roundup. Oh my God, well, I don't know how to start out of it now, if I'm honest with you. What a day yesterday. Completely and utterly drained the life out of me. A day I was really looking forward to. A day I always enjoy. Despite not always being, the most prolific transfer windows for us. I think that what happened in the last transfer window previous to yesterday, of course, were the signings that came one after the other, and the excitement of, because we always get rumours, but Kamil Nezhli never been spoken about, mentioned by any reliable source, any journo, and it just shot out of the cannon. I was expecting a little bit more of the same. I watched an interview with Mark Fairbrother as well a while back. He was on the YouTube channel. Really good interview. He speaks really well. Loved everything he said. But I personally, and I might be wrong, took some things from that, saying that we are going to be going for it. Yesterday morning, all the journos were out, all the reliable sources expect a big day for Millwall. And did it materialise? Well, we need to sum it up as a transfer window. We need to look at it as a transfer window as a whole. And of course, we lost at the start of it. Jaffet Tanganga, that was the first one to depart the club. Now, I think that Jaff in time will be replaceable. I've said already, I don't think he can cut the mustard in the Premier League. That waits to be seen and proven. But realistically, he was our best defender / our best player. And have we replaced him with Caleb Taylor? I'm not going to say we haven't replaced him. Caleb Taylor is 3 or 4 years younger than Jaff. He never got in West Brom's side. He was never given the opportunity to do so. There must be a reason behind that. They obviously didn't rate him that highly at the club, despite always giving him new contracts and getting him loans. But now at 22, 23 years old, he's been allowed to spread his wings and he's come to the den. So I think in time he could get to that level. But right here, right now, I would say he's unproven in the Championship. And then on Sunday, the club announced the signing of Derek Masu Sako. Again, very much unknown entity. For those of you saying, what a signing. Can't wait to see him play at the Den. I don't watch a lot of second division football. If you do, then I'll take my hat off to you. I don't even know where you'd be able to find that sort of shit. But that was what led up to transfer deadline day. On the day, like I said, lots of journos, lots of accredited outlets saying it's going to be a big day for me, or get ready. And of course, the transfer window got moved from 11, the close of it, to 7 p.m. So I thought, great, all business concluded by 7 p.m. It didn't work that way. I've learned the hard way yesterday. And then when it started to come out, it started to filter through in the morning. News of Tierno Ballo, news of Adam Mayer going out, and maybe others coming in. I think Nathan Redmond was one that was mentioned, who's currently on trial at Sheffield United. Would the big Serb stay? Would the big Serb go? I decided to go live at 1 o'clock. Obviously, in hindsight, what I know now, I shouldn't have maybe gone that early, but I was expecting loads of players in. I still think, before the deadline closed, I still think we needed a right back. And a right back's not been mentioned at any point. I know loads of people saying, Brook Norton Cuff, he's playing in Italy. He's not going to be coming back to Mill for one. For two, a lot of people slagged him off when he's at the club. Now we can't get him. He's the best thing since sliced bread. But never has a right back been mentioned. I don't know now whether that means that Kramer's going to continue at right back and Caleb Taylor's going to come in centre half alongside Cooper, or every other game Leonard will play, because I don't think Lenny can play every game now. And then when he does, Tristan Kramer will play centre-back with Jake Cooper. I'm not sure that's going to pan out. Obviously, you've got Wes Harden in there and Danny Mack's come back from injury. But for me, the two biggest positions we needed to fill was a right-back and a striker. Then, of course, we had the injuries to Mitchell and Denor, so we definitely needed a centre-back. So, before the window, I would have said right-back, striker, central midfielder. They were the three positions I felt we really needed to fill. I've covered the reasons why, and I'm sure I'll probably dip into it again at some point during this video. So Adam Mayer goes out on loan to Cambridge, joins up with Neil Harris again, and will be at League 2 club Cambridge, as I said, for the rest of this season. Wish him all the best. Will he ever get a look at Millwall? I'll be honest, it's unlikely. He was on loan at Bromley last year, and now he's gone back to League 2. I'm not saying that's his level, but I don't think he's going to get the chance to prove himself at Millwall Football Club. Thought he actually played quite well in the game against Coventry when he came on at half-time in the Carabao Cup a week or so ago. So, Youssef Arabi. Now, again, I can't tell you 100%, but I've never heard of Youssef Arabi, and I've never heard of Tierno Ballo. I'm sure a lot of you hadn't before the transfer window began and all the speculation started. Now, from what I've seen from a 7-minute YouTube video of Youssef Arabi, looks to me, an out-and-out centre forward. Could probably play deeper because he's tricky on the ball and he's quite quick, but he's powerful. He was always in the box. He scored a lot of headers in that showreel that I saw. It was rumoured that he'd come to London and he'd had a medical, and then there was rumours that Leicester had hijacked that deal. I don't know whether he'd been to the training ground and then he'd seen us lose at home to Wrexham. I don't know, and probably thought, fuck this, and had out the back door. He's ended up joining. Apparently, some people were saying it hadn't been announced yesterday. Some people were saying it hadn't been announced. It doesn't really matter because he's not joining Millwall anymore. But Yusuf Arabi isn't going to come. So our attention turned, and that's why I sort of, again, that's just my reading of it, me reading between the lines, my assumption of that tweet there that you can see from Dan Marsh, that, you know, attentions have now switched to Tierno Ballo. Now we're not going to get Yusuf Arabi. I then looked up Ballo, and on his showreel or highlights, etc., a 6-minute video on YouTube. I will link that in at the end. He looks like a very capable player, and I'll get into his stats and who he's played for, etc., in a minute. But he looked predominantly like a very quick, very skillful, powerful shot, scores a lot of penalties, not that we get many penalties, left winger that was right-footed, that comes in from the left. I've seen him clips him come in off the right, and I've seen him play central as well, ish. But I could be wrong. The way I'm looking at it, in my opinion, he looks to me like he's not an Arabi type player. He's not a player that I really felt we needed a centre forward. Really, really. And I'll cover it again. We had 4 strikers at the club: Langstaff, Nisbet, Coburn, Ivanovic. We weren't sure on Ivanovic's future at the time. Coburn's got an injury history. Langstaff's currently injured. And Kevin Nisbet, we weren't sure whether he's going in or he's out and what he wanted to do. We now know that, spoiler alert if you didn't know, but I'm sure you did. There you go. It was confirmed late last night because the transfer window in Scotland doesn't close until 11 p.m. Kevin Nisbet joined Aberdeen in a permanent deal believed to be in the region of £300,000. For those saying, why don't we get over $1 million for him? He's 28 years old. He's constantly injured. He's got a bad attitude south of the border. I'm sure it's a lot better north of the border. But we weren't going to get loads of money back for Nisbet. But the positives I took from Nisbet leaving was, okay, 1, he don't want to be here, so let him go and do what he wants to do. But 2, okay, so now we've got 4 strikers. As I said, Langstaff injured. Coburn actually was hobbling at the weekend. I think someone trod on his foot or something like that. And Ivanovic, it turns out Ivanovic was staying. But even if all 4, along with Nisbet, were at the club, fit and firing, with us predominantly playing 4-4-2, for me, I still felt that we needed an Ollie McBurney type character, or one that's popped up and people might go, Patrick Bamford, someone like that, someone that's an experienced Championship striker, someone that could come in for the others to learn off and to bounce off, and to also have that bit of experience, like I said, when we needed it on the pitch, can come in and do a job when need be, maybe when one of the other 2 is out, because it does look like we're playing 4-4-2 for here and now, especially, you know, it works away from home, so you wouldn't change it. 2 wins from 2. At home, not so sure. Thought Alex Neil might have actually changed it at some point on Saturday and gone 4-5-1. So, Nisbet leaves the club, Adam Mayer leaves the club, but we haven't replaced Nisbet, and we was already light up top, in my opinion. All right, Nisbet, a lot of people probably saying at the screen, he went up to it anyway. I get that, but he was a number of a player in a position that I don't personally think we have enough of. He did come off the bench away at Sheffield United for what it was worth, but we had that option there, and I don't feel now that we've got that option. The loan window, I believe, on /free agents are still available to sign. So I'm not sure whether we'll go after that again, or we'll try and source one and search for free agents. Is there anyone like Patrick Bamford who could do a job? I'm not saying him exactly, but, you know, someone with a bit of experience, someone without a club, someone who is an out-and-out, old-school, old-fashioned centre-forward. Because I think we're light, and I think we was light before the transfer window, and we've ended up with less players there than we already had. Now only the Serb and Coburn fit. I put it out on social media this morning, and I said, I can't see our other options. We seem overloaded and inundated with wingers now. So we could go 4-5-1. Will Alex Neil change it? That remains to be seen. But in all honesty, I put it out there on social media, and I appreciate everyone's comments and opinions, because everyone's entitled to one. They're like arseholes' opinions. I got what people were saying from there. I got the people saying, well, Amaku can play up front. I've said a million times, Amaku played up front against Preston on Sky. We drew 0-0. He got man of the match. But Millwall have never played him there since. I know we've got Jack Howland. I know we've got Sheldon Kendall. I know we've got AJ Matthews. But of those 3, I would say only AJ Matthews has been used in the first team as an out-and-out striker. And right here, right now, let's be honest, whether we think they're up to it or not, they're probably not going to figure. So I'm really struggling to work out, one, if it was a good transfer window. Maybe, we didn't even buy the players amount of players we was expecting. But to lose Jaff, who was probably in a lot of people's opinions our best player, definitely our most valuable player at the back, and we're already leaking goals. And for those saying, but Wrexham beat us 2-0 because Jaff weren't playing. Well, Jaff played in the home game where Middlesbrough beat us 3-0. So I don't think it's that. But we would have rather kept him than not, wouldn't we? Let's be honest. And then further up the pitch now, his problems. No inklings of a right back at all. And then we were still light. The window closed. Ballo got announced after the window closed. At this point, I'd come offline. I couldn't face it anymore after nearly 7 hours live and repeating myself like a fucking donut. Thanks for tuning in. If you did, a lot of people were in start to finish. I don't know how you managed that. I don't know how I managed that. So let alone you sitting there watching it. I think we was all on the edge. We was all waiting for something to happen, and it just never ever came. After it shut, Ballo got announced. He is on loan until the end of the season with options to potentially buy. Let's take a little look at his Wikipedia page and what Steve Gallen said. Let's start with a wiki. Tierno Ballo, he is 23 years old. He'll be 24 in January. Born in the Ivory Coast. He is an Austrian international. I didn't manage to fit that in at the bottom, but he made his Austria national debut this year. He's played for all of their youth teams as well. He started his career at, various clubs that I can't say his youth career, on to Leverkusen, Victoria Köln, before coming through the Chelsea Youth Academy. He never played for Chelsea. He had a loan whilst there at Rapid Vienna where he got no goals from 8 appearances. And then in 2022, he moved on to Wolfsberger where he scored 28 goals in 85 appearances-ish. Wikipedia's not 100% spot on. If someone wants to dispute those numbers, feel free to in the comments. So, come from Chelsea originally, Leverkusen in there as well, and scored a lot of goals in the top tier of Austrian football. Again, I said last night during the live, I'm not sure how strong Austrian football is. I wouldn't say it's as strong as Dutch football, where we've got the likes of Ian Fleming from and Kamil Nejli, but he definitely looks well above that level from what I've seen. So interested that he's in. Excited to see him play. I think he'll be a like-for-like straight for Aziz at the minute on the left. People are saying he can play up front. He probably can play up front. He knows where the net is. He's quick and he's skillful. But I sometimes think when you've got obvious things in front of you, like play Idemo Mack on the right instead of the left, the club don't seem to do it. I'm sure they've got a plan. Look, I completely trust the club. I'm not saying it's the worst transfer window in the world. Like I said, we don't want to judge it completely on one day yesterday. We want to look at it as a whole transfer window. We've got another goalkeeper in, which I thought was going to pave the way for George Evans to leave on loan. He still could, because I think that the National League and loans in other leagues as well can still be made. So we wait to see on that one. But beneficial ones to us right here, right now in the first team. Caleb Taylor in to replace Tanganga. I've covered that one. Then we got in Ballo. I think he'll be a like-for-like for Aziz right here, right now. And then Nisbet's left. So for me, we was light up front, and we're even more lighter up front than we was before the 7 p.m. deadline last night. There was no other rumours, and I did say at the start of the show, and I said to the boys on the WhatsApp group, I've got a feeling something's going to materialise. Someone's going to come out of nowhere, one we haven't heard about, one that hasn't been put out there in the press, one that hasn't been linked. And it did happen. About an hour after Tierno Ballo was announced, Will Smallbone joined the club. I'm laughing because when I was on the stream yesterday, we had 14,000 views. We had about 700 people on at one point live, hundreds of comments, and someone's put out there and put to me, I heard we're signing, names pop up all day. Someone said, I heard we're signing Ligma Johnson. I actually then said, what, Ligma the Enigma? People was going, no, he's been done. I think if you put in Millwall in Twitter yesterday, it was the top thing. Someone's videoed me saying it. I got it eventually, Ligma Johnson. I think they might say Ligma Johnson, but he wasn't far off the geezer because we've ended up signing Willie Smallbone. In the end, maybe it was a bit of a premonition, but yeah, well, if they've done me, they've done me. Apparently it's a regular thing amongst pranksters to try and get YouTubers to say silly things, which I've seen before out by Michael Bisping, but Ligma Johnson, it wasn't a very good one, in my opinion, unfortunately. I wouldn't have minded being done by it. I have been done by it. The only time I've ever heard it called Johnson was in the start of the Airplane film with Leslie Nielsen. I mean, if you would have said like Mike Corey or something like that, I would have probably found it a little bit funnier. I thought the after bit was funny, everyone loving it, brilliant. And then for us to go and sign Willie Smallbone after Ligma Johnson, like I said, maybe it was a premonition. It wasn't a million miles away, was it? But I was very happy about the Will Smallbone signing on loan from Southampton. It's a really, really good bit of business in my opinion. He went on loan to Stoke in 22-23, like you can see, and he did work under Alex Neil there. He's also a Republic of Ireland international. Very, very good player. It's a loan again, yes. Oh, here's the other thing. He's injured. So he joins two other central midfielders, Billy Mitchell and Casper Denor, on the injured list. I don't think it's a long injury, but that was a big gripe that a lot of people had yesterday on social media. Fuck me, we've signed an injured player. We've got to come here and get injured now. We've already signed him injured, but it's a great addition. Why it's only a loan, I don't know. It all happened late last night and my head was absolutely frazzled by this point. But as I said, he has worked under Alex Neil before. He played a part in helping get Southampton win promotion. I thought he's very, very good that season. He's played in the Prem. I think he's a really good, capable player and still 25, 26. So I love the idea of us signing him permanently. But for now, it is a loan and the transfer window is closed, slammed shut until January. What are we going to do? Is that it? No one else. The club put out last night, here are your 11 signings this season so far. So as a whole, you can't really knock it. But looking at us from now to last season, are we stronger or are we weaker? I'm gonna sit on the fence for that one. I'm gonna let me know in the comments. But Nisbet out, Mayer out, Willie Smallbone in, Tierno Ballo, not forgetting Caleb Taylor, and not forgetting Derek Masu Sacco as well. So 4 players in, really, 2 out. Are we going to go after any more loans? There's been no mention of a right back, so maybe the club don't think we need a right back. But I know I'm not alone in thinking that we do. And now it's international break. We wait to see what happens. Like I said, loan markets apparently, or free agents can still join. I was just hoping for, I don't know. If we'd got in a right back as well and another striker, I would say brilliant window. We haven't. We've lost our best defender, our player of the year. Replaced him with an unproven central defender. I'm sure he's a great player, but hasn't proven himself in the Championship yet. That waits to be seen. A winger, which I think we've got a lot of, and it's only a loan with an option to buy at the end if we want. Steve Gallen did put something out on the website about that. I can't bother to read now because this video's gone on long enough. And another loanee, a central midfielder, Smallbone, like I said, from Southampton. Great player. If that one and the Ballo one were permanents, I would say, okay, let's wait and see if we can get a loan in for a right back and a striker. But predominantly down the years in transfer windows, before the previous one, I'm not talking last night, I'm talking about the one before that, we've always gone out and got loans and bits and pieces, and we want permanent Millwall players. That's why I said when we signed Jaff, he's a permanent Millwall player now. That's what we want. We've had the Creswells, Ballards, Norton Cuffeys in this world that all come, impress, and then fuck off. We want permanent Millwall players. We did want to add experience. Finally, I've seen the words project and model used quite a lot on social media over the last 24 hours. I have also used those words. This is a direction we're going in. This is the new model. We get a project in as a young player like Masu Sacco, etc., like Daniel Kelly's in this world. AJ Matthews is another one. But a lot of people saying we're craving and crying out for a little bit more experience, a bit of an older head in there. And I think we need that up front. I think Smallbone will bring that with him, although he's not the oldest. He's sort of in the middle of his career, 25, 26. But he's got that experience, definitely, a level above what we've had before, I would say, in a centre of midfield. But, yeah, I do agree with that. I still think we're lacking a bit of experience. I still think we miss George Saville, in all honesty, not just for what he can do on the pitch, but what he did and what he brought off it and then getting the refs here and riding people up. So we're waiting to see if this project/model is working. There's a lot of youth in now, but now we're starting to sneak in a couple of loans. I'm not really on board with the loans, if I'm honest. Although they're two, well, one is a very good player, I know that for a fact, and the other one looks tasty from his highlight reel. But as I always say, Yuri Skalak had a brilliant highlight reel. That's your lots for this transfer window roundup. I've gone on long enough. I thought I'll get this wiped out quickly because I was online for 6.5 hours last night. That didn't happen, but I'll put my feelings across. Let me know what you think in the comments. Was it a successful transfer window or not? I'm sure you'll all let me know. And any pronunciations I've got wrong as well, they're always welcome. Please subscribe to Lions TV. Come on, you Lions.